So West Virginia's next hire. Like I said, West Virginia fans, I want this to be great for you. I think there's a lot that's really good with that program, obviously starting with the fan support, but that's a place where you can absolutely win, and West Virginia's won a lot despite some of the travel issues that I think are a lot more impactful in basketball than they are in football, just because you're traveling so much more often. You're traveling in the middle of the week. The football schedule can become a little bit more manageable. So you're coming off heartbreak. I'm hearing a lot of, the vibe with West Virginia, understandably enough, being like, hey, we need somebody who's not going to bail. We need somebody who's not going to be a flight risk. We need somebody who is going to stay for a very long time here in this job. Now, typically, that is not something I am a fan of thinking about when you're making a hire. I've had this argument many a time when K-State, my alma mater, has made hires. I've always been of the opinion, you go make the best hire. Like, you hire the best coach. If they come in and they do a great job and are good enough to be hired after a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, your program's going to be in a better place. You will have proven that another coach can win there. And you will be making a hire coming off some momentum with the program and somebody seeing like, oh, hey, like if I think I'm a good coach, I can definitely go in and win there. So for that, I would typically say West Virginia, don't worry about that too much. This, however, is a unique situation. This is a very unique situation because, again, we're not just talking about Darian DeVries with this 1 year. You've basically gone through back-to-back 1 year short-term Band-Aid coach situations with the interim thing that happened with Josh Eilert and Hugs and everything that went down there. And now here, with what has happened, you've done this back-to-back years now. It isn't even just about like feelings of the fan base and wanting to make sure that you have somebody that sticks around and loves the program. And that is definitely a part of it. Like, you want to feel like people are really invested in the program and kind of pulling in the same direction as you, but also just from like a program standpoint. How often do we talk about in the portal, like people learning that you can't bring in 11, 12, 13 new players every single year and expect it to go smoothly, because if you do that, it's just too much transition. It's too much to have to worry about. So I think you have some real reason to say we've got to find some stability here. We cannot keep doing this. And then, reputationally, you probably do take a hit at some point. If you're talking about, man, that's back-to-back coaches that just up and left. So like, I saw Fran Fraschilla, for instance. They can't make this hire now because he's taking the NC State job. But I saw Fran Fraschilla throw out, hey, West Virginia should hire Will Wade. Will Wade, I think, is a good coach. I don't think he's a guy that would have stayed long and is somebody that would be a job jumper and wants to get back to he wants to get to a big job. That's somebody who's going to want to be at an elite place and kind of has that reputation. So you probably can't make a hire like that. Now, with all that being said, I would also still be careful. I would also still be careful with going too far into the like, hey, we need to get somebody that's going to stick around and hiring just for that. To me, if you're looking for a name, which I know everybody in these things is always just looking for a name. If you're looking for a name, I would go chase Ben McCollum with everything I have if I were West Virginia right now. It sounds like you would probably have to beat Iowa to the punch on that. But I would go throw everything I have at Ben McCollum. And Iowa, the word with DeVries was didn't have the money to pay his buyout, didn't want to pay the buyout. So if you go West Virginia, I know you got money. You got Pat McAfee in there now. I heard all about it with the Rich Rod hire. You've got all sorts of money. Just go throw a bag at Ben McCollum. I think that's a rising star. He seems like somebody who, throughout his career, he had the reputation. He stayed at Northwest Missouri in D2 for a long time, waiting for the right job. Not just a job jumper, not somebody who's trying to just hop from job to job very quickly. He's pretty particular about it. So if you could get him actually interested, I do think he's somebody that would have a chance to stay for a couple of years. That to me is like your home run hire. Beyond that, I don't really know. with specific names. I was looking at hot boards earlier today. I saw like a lot of Jared Calhoun talk at Utah State. Fine. Seems like he's done a good job. Utah State's been kind of a revolving door where like any coach that comes in does do a good job. And then, like Craig Smith moves on to Utah and I don't know. I don't know beyond Ben McCollum if there's like a slam dunk hire. I will say that I was very interested to see that Chester Frazier has been getting legitimate run as like an in-house internal candidate at West Virginia, because he's somebody I'm familiar with from his time at K-State when he was on Bruce Weber's staff. So I just had, at that time, I never heard about him talked about as a future head coach. There was like Brad Korn was on that staff, who wound up getting the Southeast Missouri State head coaching job. And you heard some talk about him being a head coach. I didn't hear it at that time about Chester Frazier, but that's been a long time ago now. And he had a stint at Illinois under Brad Underwood. And then coming to West Virginia with Darian DeVries, like he's had a lot of experience, but this is the type of, it sort of to me is like the same thing. Hiring a non-experienced head coach, hiring a first-time guy when you feel like you need stability, that feels like the route that you would not want to go here. That to me is more like just best hire available kind of thing. If you're in a operating how I normally would, saying forget how long they're going to stay, just go hire the best coach, see what he does and react from there. If he takes another job, great. That means he was really successful at your place. Seems like more along that kind of line. And I see John saying, hey, he's a good recruiter. Yeah, definitely. I know that's the reputation with him. I think that's great. I think you need a stable, steadying force based on everything the program's been through. And even like it extends to football too. Like if you're Ren Baker, you got to just be like, man, I'm tired of making hires. Like I just had to hire a football coach. We're having to do this basketball thing again 1 year after I just did it last year. It's just the whole totality of the athletic department. It feels like it needs a little bit of stability as far as that's concerned. So there are my thoughts. There are my thoughts on the West Virginia job. I'm wishing you guys all the best. I understand how maddening this has to be. I'm not going to tell you that you've got to like tone it down just in terms of being mad at the world based on everything that's happened here, how it happened. And, John, I saw some others also saying like, hey, Darian DeVries didn't handle it very well, didn't talk to the team. I saw Ren Baker said they didn't get the chance to match the offer when they felt like they could be pretty competitive. For all intents and purposes, it really seemed like DeVries had one foot out the door by the end of the year and was really planning on taking another job. So you can definitely be mad at that. Fair game, free reign to be mad at that. I think basically any fan base in your position would. So those are my thoughts on the West Virginia situation. If you guys have something you want to make sure that you get on tonight, you can click the $ below the chat box to submit a super chat. Appreciate everybody who does that.